Morning! The alarm rings. Someone opens their eyes and stares at the ceiling for a long time. Not because they're lazy, not because they're sick, but because, like so many mornings before, the same quiet question rises in their mind. Today, what am I actually living for? They lie there for a moment, listening to the faint sounds outside a car, passing a dog, barking someone's footsteps in the hallway. Their phone is on the nightstand, lighting up with notifications, emails, messages, social media. They reach for it out of habit, then stop halfway. Their hand hovers in the air. For the first time in a long time, they let the phone stay where it is. They exhale slowly, then eventually they get up. The day begins. Wash up. A quick look in the mirror. Same face, slightly more tired eyes. Breakfast, if you can call it that, a piece of bread, coffee, or just nothing. Then the rush. The elevator that always seems too slow. The busy street filled with people who also look like they're late for something important. The same route, the same corner shops, the same traffic light that always feels red for too long. At work, it's a familiar turn on the computer log into the same systems, open the same apps, emails, messages, tasks, meetings that could maybe have been emails. They check the time. It's only 10:13 a.m. Somehow it feels like it should have been afternoon already. They get through the morning, tick a few boxes on their to-do list, nod along in a meeting, smile when appropriate. At lunch, they scroll on their phone. Someone just got promoted. Someone is celebrating a big contract. Someone is in another country, posting photos from a beach. Someone is writing a long caption about living your best life. They double tap a few posts, type congrats under one. But inside, there's a small dull ache. They look at their own reflection in the dark screen for a moment and think, I'm not failing. I'm not starving. I'm basically okay. So why do I feel so empty? The afternoon passes. More work, more messages, more sure I'll take care of it. More no problem. By the time they go home, the sky is already dim. They're too tired to cook properly, too drained to do anything meaningful. So they open their phone again, videos, memes, news, more lives to compare with. They scroll until their eyes sting. They tell themselves they'll go to bed earlier tonight. They don't. Eventually, lying there in the dark, they stare at the ceiling again. The same thought comes, if 5 years from now I'm still living exactly like this, can I stand it? This time they don't push it away. They don't cover it with it's fine, everyone's like this. They let the question echo inside their chest. And from somewhere deep, a small, quiet answer comes no. Not because life is a disaster, not because everything is horrible, but because deep down it feels like they're living on autopilot inside a story that someone else wrote for them. No big explosion happens. No dramatic breakdown, no shouting, no tears on the floor. Just one person staring at the ceiling in the dark, finally admitting to themselves, I'm not okay. I don't want to live like this forever. And that is when the journey actually starts. Not tomorrow, not at New Year, not when some grand opportunity appears. It starts with that single honest moment. That night, instead of opening another app, they open the Notes app, or they reach for a notebook that's been lying unused on a shelf. The blank page feels awkward. What do you even write when you don't know what you want? They start with something simple. In my life right now, what am I unhappy about? The words come slowly. At first, then faster. I'm tired all the time. I feel like I'm just repeating days. I don't feel proud of what I'm doing. I feel disconnected from myself. They pause, then write another question. At work, what is draining me? They think about it, the tasks that make their chest feel heavy, the conversations that leave them exhausted, the kind of work that makes time feel painfully slow. They write those down too. Then one more. Is there anything at all, that makes me feel even a tiny bit better after I do it? They remember small moments, helping a colleague understand something, finishing a task that had been stuck for days, writing a clear explanation, organizing something messy into something simple. They type, I like when I make something clearer for others. I like when I feel useful, not just busy. I like when I learn something new and can apply it. When they finally stop writing, the page isn't pretty. It's messy, unstructured, emotional. But for the first time in a long time, it feels true. They look at the words and realize I've been pretending I'm okay for so long that I forgot how to be honest with myself. In the days that follow, they carry this question around like a small stone in their pocket. If my life continues, like this is that enough for me, they still go to work, they still attend meetings, they still reply, I'm good you when people ask how they are. But inside, something has shifted. One afternoon, sitting in a cafe, they stare out the window at the people walking by. Some are rushing, some are laughing, some look tired like them. And the question appears again, why am I on this path? Not a simple answer, not because it's a good job or because that's what I studied. But why really? They go back in their memory. They remember being younger, back when people asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? The answers were colorful. Then artist, astronaut, scientist, singer, hero, traveler. Somewhere along the way, those answers were replaced with more realistic ones. They didn't even notice when it happened. They remember choosing a major because it was safe. People said it had good prospects. Their parents approved. It sounded respectable. They remember their first job decisions being guided by salary, security. It looks good on a CV. Everyone else is doing something like this. None of those reasons are wrong. They're understandable, even necessary sometimes. But as they stir their drink in that cafe, they realize a painful truth. I never really asked myself what asterisk. I asterisk value most. I just followed what I was told mattered. The question comes slowly. If I didn't have to impress anyone, if there were no expectations, no pressure to look successful, what would truly matter to me? They don't answer right away. How could they? They've never truly asked this before. Over the next days, they start paying attention. They notice which stories move them. They notice which people they genuinely admire, not the ones with flashy lives, but the ones whose eyes seem calm and alive. They realize they're drawn to people who live in alignment with what they believe in, are kind even when no one is watching, are curious, always learning, always growing, are brave enough to choose their own path, even if others don't understand. They write that down too. These are the qualities I admire: honesty, courage, kindness, growth, freedom. Then it hits them. The things I admire out there are actually the things my own heart is starving for. One evening, they sit down again, this time with a clearer intention. They ask, what are the top 3-5 values I want to build my life around? They think of words like freedom, stability, family, creativity, learning, contribution, peace, respect. They circle a few that feel especially right. They don't know exactly what to do with them yet, but they sense these words are not just ideas. They are like coordinates on a map. Their inner compass, long ignored, is starting to flicker back to life. A few days later, they ask themselves another question. Do I actually have any strengths? The automatic answer is familiar no. I'm average. But this time, they don't accept that lazy answer. They decided to look more closely. They remember times when people said, you're really good at explaining things, or I feel better after talking to you, or you're so reliable, or you always make things clearer. They think about group projects at work or school. What do people usually ask them to handle? What do they naturally take charge of? Planning, detail checking, connecting people, brainstorming ideas, simplifying complex things. They write those small hints down. They also notice what comes a little easier to them than to others, even if it's not glamorous, remembering details, staying calm in chaos, empathizing, organizing steps, spotting patterns, finding better ways to explain. None of it screams genius, but it doesn't have to. They begin to understand. Maybe being good at something doesn't mean being the best in the world. Maybe it just means I have something real to offer. They then turn to their interests. Within all the noise of the internet, certain topics keep pulling them in. Stories about psychology, videos about business, art, design, technology, health education, whatever it is for them. They notice which conversations they could continue for hours without getting bored. They notice what they search for when no one else is around. They realize there are things I'm naturally drawn to. I've just never allowed myself to take them seriously. With values, strengths, and interests a little clearer, they look again at their current job. This time, instead of one big, I hate this, they ask more precise questions. Is this the wrong asterisk field, asterisk for me, or the wrong asterisk environment, asterisk, or just the wrong asterisk role, asterisk? Is it the type of tasks, the culture, the rhythm, the way I'm working? They imagine rating it, fit with my values, fit with my strengths, fit with my interests, fit with the kind of life I want in 3-5 years. Some scores are surprisingly okay. Some are painfully low. They realize I am not the problem. The whole thing is not necessarily the problem either. But their asterisk is asterisk a mismatch somewhere. I need to find where. This realization doesn't magically fix everything, but it changes the tone from I'm broken to something here doesn't fit me, and that means I can look for a better fit. With that new mindset, a new question emerges. What if there isn't just asterisk one asterisk right path for my life? What if there are several possible paths I could try? So one evening, they sit down and sketch out 3 possible futures for themselves. Not perfect ones, just possibilities. Path 1, the safer road. Stay in the same general field. Find a better company, a better team, a better role. Lean into their strengths. Increase their skills, their income, their stability. Path 2, the blended road. Keep the job for now for financial safety. But in their free time, intentionally build something different. Learn a new skill. Take on small side projects. Create content. Try freelancing. Experiment with a small business. Explore something closer to their interests and values. Path 3, the bold road. Change direction more radically. Study something new. Move toward a different profession. Start something of their own, even if it's small, riskier, scarier, but maybe more alive. They imagine each path in detail. What time would I wake up? What would a typical day look like? Would I feel drained or energized? Could this support me financially someday? Would this person future me feel more honest, more aligned, more at peace? They don't need perfect answers. They're just trying on different lives in their imagination, like clothes in a fitting room. The next step is not to choose one blindly, but to test them. Instead of quitting their job in frustration and jumping into something unknown, they decide to take a wiser, gentler route. Test small, learn fast without destroying my life in the process. So they create small experiments. For the safer path, they talk to people who already work in more aligned roles within their field. They ask what the work is really like. They look for internal transfers projects or teams that match their values better. For the blended path, they dedicate a few hours a week to building skills and projects in another direction. They might take an online course, seriously not just watch, actually practice. Offer help on a small freelance task. Start a small Instagram account, YouTube channel, newsletter, blog, or project. Create something people can react to. For the bold path, they research what it would actually require to make a bigger shift. Time, money, learning, risks, sacrifices. They reach out to people who've done it. They listen not to fairy tale success stories, but to the honest parts, the hard days, the mistakes, the trade-offs. After each experiment, they ask themselves 3 questions. Did I feel a spark of interest or meaning, even if I was tired? Can I realistically see a path from where I am to making this sustainable? Did this activity allow me to use my natural strengths and live my values more? Some answers are disappointing. The thing they thought they loved from the outside turns out to be different from the inside. That's not failure, that's data. Other answers surprise them. Something they never really considered starts to feel oddly right, like a shoe that quietly fits. Months pass. Nothing looks spectacular from the outside. They still go to the same office or log in from the same desk. They still meet the same people. Their life on social media looks almost unchanged. But on the inside, their relationship with their own life is changing. They are no longer just drifting. They are testing, learning, adjusting, choosing. Then one day they sit down with all their notes, memories, and gut feelings from the experiments. They notice patterns. This kind of work leaves me empty. This kind of work makes me feel useful. This environment drains me. That one gives me room to breathe. They see which path or combination of paths keeps calling them back. Not the loudest one, not the one that impresses people the most, but the one that feels quietly right. And they make a decision for the next 1, 2 years. This is the direction I will commit to. Not forever, not as an identity locked in stone, just as a conscious temporary commitment. They write it clearly. In the next 12, 24 months, my main direction is, they describe the path. To move toward it, I will learn specific skills, complete specific projects, aim for specific milestones. These are the things I am willing to sacrifice. Time, comfort, some money, some approval. It doesn't feel perfect. Doubt is still there, but alongside the doubt, there is a new feeling. I am choosing this. Not my parents, not society, not fear. Me. The first day in this new chapter does not come with fireworks. They wake up in the same bed. They walk on the same floor. They wear the same clothes. But when they sit at their desk that day, they open a document or a course, send a message, or start a small task that moves them even 1 millimeter in their chosen direction. And in that simple, quiet action, something shifts. Today is no longer just about surviving and getting to the evening. It's about building something slowly and perfectly that feels more like their own life. They are still afraid. They still make mistakes. They still have days where nothing works and everything feels pointless again. There are nights where they lie awake wondering if they made the wrong choice. They see other people moving faster, achieving more, looking happier. Comparison sneaks in. Maybe I'm too slow. Maybe I'm too late. Maybe I'm not enough. But now there is also another voice inside them. A voice that remembers I've already lived one life where I didn't choose, where I just went along with what others expected. I don't want to go back to that. So they keep going. Some weeks are productive, some are messy, some are pure survival. Every now and then they pause and look back, not to see how far behind they are from others, but to see how far they've come from who they used to be. They notice small things. I am more honest with myself now. I say no a little more to things that are wrong for me. I say yes a little more to things that match my values. I understand my patterns better. I take responsibility more. I feel my life becoming more mine. They still don't have all the answers. They probably never will. But they've learned something. Crucial. Life direction is not something you find once and for all. It's something you build through many small conscious choices. It's not a lightning strike. It's a series of quiet moments when you stop, look at your own heart, and say, I hear you. Let's try this. If it doesn't work, we'll adjust. But we will not go back to pretending. This story has no name, no age, no country, no gender. It was written that way on purpose. Because this person could be anyone. They could be in Asia, Europe, Africa, America, anywhere in the world. They could be working in an office, a factory, a hospital, a restaurant, a school, a shop, a farm, a studio. They could be 18 or 48, single, married, divorced, widowed, rich, poor, in between. The details change. The feeling doesn't. The feeling of waking up one day and realizing I've been living on autopilot. I've been drifting. I want to come home to myself. If you are hearing these words and something in your chest feels tight or suddenly soft or quietly seen, maybe a part of you has been waiting for this too. Not for this story, but for permission. Permission to pause, permission to question, permission to not know, permission to try, permission to choose. You don't have to quit everything tomorrow. You don't have to know your ultimate purpose. You don't have to have a perfect plan. You only need to start with one honest moment. To admit to yourself, even if only in a whisper, I don't want to live on autopilot anymore. I want to live a life that feels like mine. Then take one small step. Write one honest page. Ask yourself one real question. Try one tiny experiment. Make one conscious choice, and then another, and another. From that moment on, your life may still be messy, uncertain, imperfect, but it will also slowly, truly be yours.